clean him up.
Oh, God.
And I do have to dig that out. I do remember that distinctly, but, then again, Mandela effect, whatever you want to call it.
That's one that I haven't even heard of. I didn't, I had.
It was at the same time that Kinzinger came out with that comment, and they were digging up, other people talking about it. Apparently people in his inner circle, this is common knowledge.
So I had heard like rumors to the effect that, okay, like looking at his body line and how his clothes fell on his body, there were rumors about him wearing adult diapers. I had not heard the level of detail that you're filling it in with now, if you'll pardon the expression. I did not know that, but as we have mentioned before in our interactions, the whole process, whether it's like getting Trump ready in the morning or cleaning and disposing of whatever needs to be cleaned and disposed of, that must just be at all points a horrific process, being the literal body man for Donald Trump just must be, I think, something that I don't have a lot of respect for Mike Rowe in terms of especially what he's revealed about his politics. But I will say, if he ever decided to go back into his dirty jobs routine and took that one up, I would have a certain level of respect for him, because that has got to be the worst, the dirtiest, the most horrific, most abominable job that I can imagine.
Okay, I am going to editorially correct myself. It was not in the White House.
Okay.
Because I'm an honest liar. Fair if
enough.
I lie about something, I will correct.
We can do it.
It was on The Apprentice. It was a Celebrity Apprentice. Noel Kassler was interviewed, and he explained how there was someone on set. Trump did not clean himself when changing out Depends. He wears hard plastic girdle and doesn't have freedom of movement.
A girdle like Elmer Fudd.
This is why when he turns his entire body instead of just his neck, which I have noticed he does.
Yes. Yeah, he does that old man sort of thing. That so makes sense. Yes. I can so and speaking of The Apprentice, I was scanning articles. It wasn't one of the ones that I was specifically bringing up today or thinking of bringing up, but it does kind of tie into things, because Omarosa said that they would constantly plan things and structure things in a way on The Apprentice because he had such a short attention span, have to change things up quickly and structure meetings so that things were shifting all the time so that he wouldn't fall asleep. And as you know,
this is what he's doing.
Exactly. 3 times now. 3 times he has fallen asleep in court, and this is just the first week. He has to show up like every weekday until this thing is over. This is just the preliminaries. They've just seated the jury at this point.
I love what Chris Hayes said. The one thing, if you're going to go on and on about Sleepy Joe this and Sleepy Joe that, the one thing you have to do throughout this entire 2024 election season is not fall asleep. Listen, Donnie, 2 scoops, he had one job, and he blew it.
Now, he has, I mean, I would think, for a man who has as many, audible sinus issues as Donald Trump does, that he would have access to a few things in one form or another to keep him awake, even if he didn't go in for the very hardcore stuff, which I'm sure he has at some point in his career. There are innumerable caffeinated beverages. I mean, this is a man who on his desk had a button in the Oval Office, a specific button where he could be brought a carbonated beverage at any time. Now, there's got to be some way. I mean, like they take breaks from time to time. This isn't a continuous process. You take a break for a couple of hours. You can get a big load of caffeine in that time. You have got to be way down the scale in order to have one of those, which he clearly must have had at some point, and then still 30 minutes later just completely zonk out. That is amazing to me. That is something that people should be paying attention to if they are even anywhere near seriously considering voting for Donald Trump. Because, if the Joint Chiefs of Staff are telling you about a military contingency, you probably don't want to nod off for that.
Well, look, you're forgetting this man is up at 3:00 in the morning on the toilet, looking at classified documents, socially truthing his truth. And by the time it comes to 9 a.m. on a Thursday, a court hearing, he is exhausted. He's been up for 6 or 7 hours already. He's already had his 8-hour day.
This is probably the usual time for his nap, I guess. I mean, this is interfering with Donnie nap time. And remember, there were stories from when he was in the Oval Office where he would have all this unscheduled
he didn't get
time.
Into 10 or 11.
Yeah.
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 And it's not like he has to go very far. It's literally the closest commute. It's down a flight of fucking stairs.
Yeah. Yeah. And
he lives above the Oval Office.
And let's talk about this man's diet. This man has the kind of diet that is obviously, if indulged in the way he clearly does, is going to set him on a path to somnolence. I mean, he can have a lot of energy drinks, but these two, the Big Macs and the Red Bulls, are fighting a battle inside this man, and the Red Bulls are going to lose. There are not enough Red Bulls on the face of the earth that could contend with this man's history, his physiology, and his diet. And so I think
this is why I am convinced it's the Adderall.
Okay.
And maybe his sniffing is the fact that, he just sniffed a bunch of Adderall, and sometimes he's fighting his dentures. Remember when
the United States. God bless the United States.
Folks, this is what happens. You sent me this article about Biden saying that an uncle of his was shot down where the cannibals live.
Yes, his uncle was eaten by cannibals.
Old people running a country. This is what we have.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was and that's a little silly. And I'm sure Sleepy Joe gets sleepy from time to time. But I don't think I've seen Joe Biden fall asleep. In front of the cameras. And now we have seen Donald Trump fall asleep in the cameras. Yeah, he probably does it from time to time. And,
the sketch artist from the court drew him slack-jawed sleeping in his chair. So now that's canon, folks. That's in the history books.
With little Z's coming out. You see, that's one of the neat things about having a court, sketch artist. You can embellish things because you're not supposed to make everything look exactly that way in order to prevent people from knowing the identity of the
he looks like the
jurors.
Orange Grinch in this picture, a lot more gaunt than he actually is.
Yes, and it shows inside of him that his heart is 3 sizes too small.
Because he just farted in court.
Thank you, Floor Action Response Team. But yes.
Are you running around with Febreze or something? What is the purpose of what are they doing?
I think. Well, you see, Judge Merchan is now going to have to do that inside the court too. I think they're going to need to get a couple of cases of whatever Marjorie Taylor Greene is using in the halls of Congress and carry it up to the Southern Manhattan District Court and use it there. there as well, because it just there seems to be something. There seems about the right wing that produces flatulence. I mean, there's something chemically. I think we could probably do studies and find out exactly what that is.
I think it's because they're full of shit. But talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know how she gets really upset when you call her like a Jewish space laser expert and stuff like that. Well, recently, you know, because she's complaining she's going to throw Mike under the bus and out of the speakership over some aid packages. And, you know, she's really upset about how Israel has space lasers and America should have space lasers. In fact, we should have space lasers on the border, and we should just pew, 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 the people who are coming across the border. Like Israel has space lasers, and they're going pew, 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 to all the missiles and drones that Iran is sending over their way. By the way, these are not space lasers. No. This is the Iron Dome. It's ground to air missiles that they're shooting. They're not lasers. The reason why they look like that at night is because there are lights, and it's
dark, and like
and they take a picture. And when you take a picture, kind of like how ghost hunters take pictures of lights moving, it looks like a tube. It looks like a laser. Listen, 3rd District in Georgia, if you are listening, please stop voting. Whoever you are, and I know there's a lot of you that put this woman into office, please just stop. You're hurting the rest of the country, because she is the reason why everything is wrong with the country. Yeah. It's not just, you know, the maggots in office. It's not just the maggot leader, the orange Grinch that's sitting there farting and snoring during a hush money case, during a real criminal trial, folks. It is the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of this country who are in positions of power to be so stupid as to say, they have lasers. I want lasers. Listen, Paris Hilton. They don't. And by the way, you're just reiterating and rehashing you are the Jewish space lasers expert.
Yes.
You know, the moniker that you want so badly to get rid of, you're just giving us more reason to call you that.
She's just, I mean, these are the people that keep Donald Trump in power, because they are hoping that they can use him to get even more power and more funding for themselves. And that's the reason they're doing it. It's because they're selfish, and they want to gather as much, you know, power and resource to themselves as they possibly can, and they will sell their own voters down the river at the first opportunity, and they have no conception of reality, and that extends to the scientific. So when I just can't wait for the day when Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking to someone at the Pentagon in a hearing on Capitol Hill, and she demands to know the status of the space lasers, and some, you know, guy in a uniform says, "Ma'am, we have Congresswoman Greene. We currently have no mechanisms like that at this point in time," and she like refuses to, you know, believe him, and it's, you see. I think this is what needs to be focused on: the ignorance of the MAGA right, their complete rejection and ignorance of anything science-based whatsoever. And I think this is a much more serious problem than that other representative in Georgia who was worried about the Guam tipping up on its end. Because I know, you know, Democrats are capable of that from time to time, but clearly the Republicans and the Freedom Caucus, they own this. This is their thing. This is their deal.
I understand. You know, Democrats had 50 years to codify Roe in some form. I understand how government works. I paid attention in civics class. I know what you need, and I know it's been difficult between, you know, the presidencies and the houses and all of that going on, the Congress. But I also understand that one party is actively trying to take away women's rights, starting with whether or not they are able to procreate when they choose to. Mm-hmm. And then moving on to going back to, we can't have credit cards, we can't have bank notes, we can't have car notes, we can't have mortgages, rentals without our father's permission or our husband's permission. Yeah, all that stuff.
There is a very clear and distinct difference between Democrats and Republicans. And my first, you need to look into it even beyond that.